Hi, everybody. This is Jeff Veale, the business guru from downtown Manila, with Stars on Spotlight. Today, I've got a very special star. He's from my home country, Australia, and I'll be introducing him in a minute. But meanwhile, guys, if you want to be on Stars on Spotlight and become famous all over the world, remember, guys, a TV commercial is going to set you back about $30,000. 10 radio spots probably set you back between $3,000 and $5,000. You can come on Stars on Spotlight and be promoted all over the world, guys. We'll promote you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, YouTube, your channel and ours, and you'll reach thousands of people throughout the world, all for free, guys. The price is good. The price is right. So like and subscribe to this channel, guys, and come and meet guests. Like my current guest coming up right now is Mr. Greg Keeley. Greg's a director of How's Your Headspace. Very interesting name there. How's Your Headspace? It's about the mental and emotional health industry, guys. And it's more important than ever, guys. It's more important than ever, right? He's been in the industry for some 7 years. And prior to that, he was psychological sales coaching for 10 years. So he's been in the industry for a long, long time. He assists people all over the world to release limiting beliefs, emotional trauma, and negative unconscious acceptance from before birth to their current day. And you'd be surprised, guys, what can trigger you. Right, I'll tell you guys another day if you want to know. I saw a real ghost when I was 6. A real ghost when I was 6. A real talking ghost. You want to know more about that, guys? Reach out to me one day. I'll talk to Greg about it later. Brief description. He assists people all over the world, as I said. Key achievements. 12-week total mental and emotional realignment programs receive 100% success rate. He helps veterans, private realignment community, emergency services, and empathizes with private and realignment community. So there's more to this story, guys, and you'll be hearing that very shortly. His personal motto: releasing your unconscious emotions attached to past events will set you free of all your limitations and begin aligning your identity with your true purpose, guys. And and every man's got a story, guys. So reach out to someone like Greg because he can help you with all this stuff. Interesting fact about himself: near-death experience. Drowned and passed over after an accident in the Antarctic Ocean while boarding illegal vessels, and then came back with hypothermia and passed over again. Obviously came back, but the PTSD ruined my life, and until I discovered what I do now, and therefore I help people's mental and emotional health from a first-hand experience. Now, it's pretty awesome. Good morning, Greg. How's life in the sunny Sunshine Coast, buddy?
Morning, Jeff. It's fantastic. It's a place I've chosen to live, so I'm loving life and very grateful for it.
Well, if anyone's been up there, guys, he's living in what they call God's country. He's in a good part of the world. And guys, you're not a tree. You can move too. You can be anywhere you want to be. Greg will tell you later. It's all a mindset. You can be anywhere you want to be if you want it bad enough, right? So make a change. Don't make excuses. Tell us about your journey, Greg, and what inspired you to pursue your current career path, my friend.
Thanks very much for this opportunity, Jeff.
Most welcome.
I'm 56 years old now. I was born into a family where I had some strong narcissism from a family member, and basically grew up thinking that every idea I ever came up with was stupid and was wrong, as most of us did back in those days.
I can relate.
Yeah, it had to be their way or the highway. So
yeah, that's right.
Unfortunately, what that does is that embeds an unconscious acceptance that I cannot make good decisions myself. So I went through from a very young age and played every single sport known to man. As I would become good at that sport, unconsciously that embedded imprint acceptance that it was a stupid idea for me to start this sport, and I couldn't be successful at it. And so I would quit that sport and start another one. So every time I became successful at anything, I would resign and start something new at the bottom. So awesome. That brings out self-sabotage from a lifetime. So I've had like 41 different careers in my life, succeeded at all of them, but then the success didn't feel right because I had that unconscious acceptance that it was a stupid idea I started at the beginning.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. And so then that led to me actually joining the military, and I was a Navy clearance diver, which is like a Navy SEAL. And yep, had that death experience back in 1997. That resulted in about 7 years after the fact of me being triggered. And every time I couldn't see an exit somewhere, like in a car park or a shopping center, I was going and reliving the death experience where I was blacking out. And so panic attacks would happen all the time. And that obviously bred inside me an anxiety to leave the house, a severe depression, very suicidal. I'd go out and plan how I would end this life because I
Goodness.
couldn't. Yeah, you just can't escape your internal emotion and mental
Sure.
trauma. So I went down the road of that many others do around the talk therapy through psychologists and psychiatry. However, it just kept fueling the emotions, and so I couldn't escape them until I understood that where it exists inside us is your unconscious. It's not conscious. It's an unconscious trigger. And so once I understood how to access that through hypnotherapy and trance, I was able to let go of all my limitations, everything that triggered me, this unconscious self-sabotage of a lifetime. And it worked so quickly and so well. I studied as much as I could on how and why, and it took me into the world of the realm of quantum physics and the theories and mechanics around that, how we exist in different states of consciousness. So if we understand that we do live this human life, this human existence through different states of consciousness. One is my self-conscious, what I can focus on, runs about 5% of my life. The second is your unconscious or subconscious, people call it. I prefer unconscious because you're unaware it's happening. It's beating your heart. It's blinking. It's growing your hair. It's reproducing dead cells, shedding dead cells, reproducing new cells. It's running 95% of your life, and your unconscious is also 100% emotional. So its job is not only to run your life, but it's also to attach an emotion to everything you've ever experienced, even before birth. So when you were going through that gestation period inside mum, we basically attach an emotion to everything in this life. Now, if we understand that, we see that the negative ones, the negative emotions, the negative events, there's no good or bad. There's no positive or negative events. It just is. There's just is things that occur, and we are the ones that attach a negative emotion to it. And therefore, we go through the rest of our life after that negative experience, searching unconsciously for something similar. So we're ready and we don't get threatened, and we go through that fight, flight, or freeze sort of mode.
The comfort zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me.
And so we're on alert all the time through life,
Yeah. What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, and how have you overcome that?
The most challenging was pretty much, I stepped up once. We've all got this intuitiveness inside us through our higher consciousness, and working with people constantly and guiding them to access theirs, it allowed me to then connect on a higher level, on a super conscious level. So in actual fact, if I was going to set up a session for you today, as I'm setting up the session, I'll get these messages from you on what you need for that specific day. And so it basically, once we caught up, I know exactly what you need for the day to help you get through whatever's challenging you. So that was quite amazing because, like you said earlier, you spoke to a ghost when you were younger. It's just that ghost is in a different state of consciousness that you connected to. So it allows me to connect to that level very, very regularly. But I'm very lucky because I can turn it on and off, where a lot of my clients, a lot of empaths, a lot of people that feel drained or get emotionally overwhelmed, they can't turn that off. I'm very lucky I've been able to turn that off, probably because of my many careers.
Tell me an important moment in your career, Greg, that changed the direction in what you were going.
I tried, once I understood that this is so overwhelmingly successful, this method of accessing people's states of consciousness for them to release all their limiting beliefs, I tried to save the world. So I tried to help
one at a time, or what?
No,
all
yeah,
at
that's
once.
right. And what was my biggest realization is the world doesn't want to be saved.
That's right. In many cases, you're 100% right. I get it every day. I know all about that.
Yeah, and so people reach out to me and say, I really need help, and then never take it any further.
Yeah, that's a bit sad, isn't it? Sad when you know you can help someone and they don't take the opportunity to help them. You know what I mean? It is. I see it often.
But what it did is it opened up my awareness that not everyone is ready yet.
Yeah, correct.
So
you're right. That's right. Different levels of life, right? They come back later, or sometimes years later.
That's exactly right. And so they're not ready yet. They might be ready in the future, but then they may never be ready either, because their path is to suffer and experience whatever they're experiencing, and they just don't want to change it.
Yeah, it's like guys being in a bad relationship, and it's funny, you might stay there, not forget the kids for a moment. You might be in a bad relationship for 3, 5, 8, 10 years, and for some reason, if you're lucky, the partner leaves you, and all of a sudden you go, wow, life's so bloody good. You didn't realize what you were putting up with. So there's many things like that, guys. The mind's a very, very powerful thing, right? And you can be a prisoner, guys. You can be a prisoner of your mind, or with Greg's help, you can escape that prison. In your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills that have contributed to your success during this time?
Just probably life experience. So I've been successful in everything, but then resigned, as I said. So I've sold multi-million-dollar properties to billionaires. I've washed dishes in restaurants.
Sound like me, you've done it all.
I've done it all.
Yeah.
But like you were saying before, it's very easy for us to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's all we know.
Yes.
So when you say a negative relationship,
status quo, we accept the status quo, don't we?
Yeah, and so people will live their life being so miserable and unhappy because that's all they know.
Same as a job, isn't it? Also,
exactly.
job's another one, big one.
Yeah, and I've got a saying which resonates so heavily with always go where you are celebrated, not where you are tolerated.
Because, not bad. I love that one.
Yeah, like you said before, we can create change, and we can change our position in life, but we need to want to make that change.
That's right.
Yeah. So
sometimes you need some help. Like, for example, if my girlfriend tells me I need a haircut, I don't get upset. I can't see the back of my head. So I accept that as a positive, not a criticism. I say, or my breath stinks, whatever. If people don't tell you, you don't know, guys. So be open to criticism,
Yeah.
Tell me, you obviously stay highly motivated and continue to innovate in your field. How do you do all that? How do you stay motivated and keep innovating?
I'm very lucky that I went through so many years of misery.
Yeah, and, been there, done that.
If I look at everything has happened in my life, it hasn't happened to me. It's happened for me. So why has this happened? What can I learn from it?
Yes.
And then if we understand this happened for me, then I can teach others to identify what's happened for them, because we're here for 3 purposes.
Yep.
We're here to learn, and we've all done a lot of learning. We're here to love. And when I say love, I'm talking about the people that you love the person you've become, because you've gone through so much, right? So we're here to learn, we're here to love the person, and then we're here to teach. We're here to teach others from what you've learned. So for me, to answer that question, is that this has allowed me to live my true purpose, going through all the pain and misery that I did, to now be able to teach
we must
from
have we must have been brothers from another mother, because I've been through your journey. When I was 8, I had a motivational speaker, guys. When I was 8, how lucky was I? And it was my stepfather. And when he's get me ready for school, and he'd comb my hair and say, "Shit, you're an ugly kid." that was my motivational talk every morning. And then I had glasses, guys. I used to go to school. They used to bash me up for being 4 eyes. So I hid my glasses. And then, of course, I'd hide my glasses in the grass before I went to school. And then I sat at the back of the school. I couldn't see the blackboard, so I failed most of the subjects. So everyone thought I was an idiot. So I can relate to you, my friend. I've been there and done it all. You know, tell me, can you discuss a recent project or achievement that you're particularly proud of?
Well, you know, a project. You mean I've got those programs I talked to you about, but what really opened up my understanding of how amazing this type of therapy is I had a client who had a massive car accident and had lost all use of the right side of his body.
Oh, wow.
And he'd gone through a lot of depression and self-hate for 7 years. He was bedridden. And he came to me to see if what I do could assist him. And I thought, okay, well, look, I use this this connection and alignment to help people with their emotion and mental state.
Yes.
If we understand that our body only makes up of less than 1% of our existence through the quantum physics world, how can I use what I do to help him repair his body? And so I did some research, and we went into what the doctors said was his the problems there. And the doctors just said, "Look, mate, your brain can no longer send messages to your muscles because you've shattered the communication between the motor neurons in your brain and the muscles." So I looked at how that works, and it actually, you go into that and you start seeing that we can create new motor neuron pathways that basically I can use 3 ingredients: thought, visualization, and taking action, to create new motor neuron pathways. So I showed him a lot of pictures on what I was going to do. We went into trance. He actually connected, and I guided him through creating new pathways from his brain to the muscles. Now he's gone from being bedridden for 7 years to gardening and creating pumpkins for local.
How awesome is that?
It's just phenomenal. So there just seems to be no limit to the capabilities of what we can do once we access our higher consciousness and we use the greater power that we all exist in.
Yeah, and how often do these professionals give up? You hear hundreds of stories, guys, not just 1 or 2, but in Greg's case here, where he's helped, hundreds of stories about people, oh, you'll never walk again, or you'll never do this, or you'll never do that. And then people prove that to be wrong. So guys, remember, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. The mind's a very powerful thing. And reach out to people like Greg and get that help.
You'll be amazed at how many people come to me with so many different labels, and I call them labels, but we tend to call labels, them diagnoses. So my doctor has diagnosed me with this, and then once someone in a white coat says this is what I have, I accept that, and I start living my life around that.
Yeah, correct. Limited belief.
And so we need to really take note of who we're accepting this guidance and information from, because you have the answers yourself.
Yeah, that's right. Let's say it's meant to be, it's up to me. And so, work on it, guys. The mind is more powerful than you'd ever think. And guys, Greg will tell you, there's a guy out there, I forget his name now. He's a guy out there with no legs and no arms, and the guy's famous. He goes skydiving, scuba diving, climbs mountains, does all this stuff. He's on a backpack on his wife's backpack, and he's living life large. So, guys, you able-bodied people, what's your excuse? It's all in the mind, guys. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, Greg?
I've just created these new communities. So they're private communities. One's for veterans, because I'm a veteran. One's for emergency services, because
Yes.
I was in emergency services after the veterans.
So you understand all this stuff, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And then one's for empaths, so people, like I said before, that become overwhelmed with life and the energies in it. And so I've created these, and it's very exciting because it's only $10 a week, and they get a live session, they get tips, they get ebooks and all this stuff to help
Unbelievable.
them with their mental and emotional
Yes,
state.
it's the virtue of a price of a Starbucks coffee.
Yeah, exactly right. And so for that once a week, it'll help them shift and change their life. But not only theirs, what I find with this is once we help the one person, the entire dynamics of the household changes. So their children, they stop this toxic cycle going around.
That's right.
Because
Yeah, stop being grumpy and cranky and et cetera, and life gets better.
Yeah, fantastic. So these three communities, I'm very excited, and I'm only just starting to launch them now. So yeah, so moving on in the future, it's to help as many people as I can for as little cost as I can.
Yeah, you're doing a wonderful job, my friend, and a much needed service. So guys, if you need some help, reach out to me. It costs you nothing to reach out and have a chat. It's just like what we call these days a virtual cup of coffee, a glass of wine or water, depending on the time of the day, guys. Reach out and have a chat. You don't know what you don't know, and you can learn. I didn't know Greg Experience was there, and we're aligned in so many ways, guys. I had, true story, because of my wonderful motivational speaker, he also told me I'd never be anything. I'd always be a nobody. I went down the sport route as well, funny enough. And also I had, guys, true story, I had over 200 jobs from 14 to 28 because I was told I was a nobody. And the jobs I went for were labourer, storeman, kitchen hand. I didn't bother to go for manager or salesperson. I didn't think I was good enough. It was only when I was 28, I changed my life around, and mine's a whole whole different story, guys. But along the path, someone like Greg could have shown me the journey a lot earlier, right?
But, yeah, it's exactly right. It's a classic example of unconscious acceptance, that we unconsciously accept
absolutely
what we're told from some limited mindset fool in our past.
Yeah, and I like the one about the white coat too. You know, guys, when we were younger, we're taught the accountant, the banker, and the doctor. They're all, and lawyer. That's a funny one. Or a politician. They're all higher authorities. We should trust these people. It's only when you grow up and start to use your own mind, you realize you've been fed a lie. You know,
exactly.
So it is what it is. Tell me, before we wrap up, how can our listeners reach out and find out more about your wonderful programs?
So if you search How's Your Headspace, HOWSYOURHEAD, and then a separate word, space, SPACE. So How's Your Headspace? But I've got a direct email, which is support@howsyourheadspace.com.au. So that's HOWSYOURHEADSPACE.com.au. That'll come directly to me. I'm on Facebook. I have a professional page there, and plus the community. So I'm very accessible.
And the other thing too, guys, I'll be putting all of Greg's socials. This is going up as a YouTube video in the next 24 hours with all of Greg's socials there. We'll be putting him across Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and of course YouTube, and we'll be reaching thousands of people throughout the world to get this message, this very important message out there. And that's the way you can reach out, because you'll find all of his social links will be there in the chat underneath the YouTube video for you. So I implore you guys, reach out if you're having problems, or you got a bit of self-doubt in your life, and we all do from time to time. Reach out. Costs you nothing to explore the journey, guys, and get inside that headspace. Tell us, before we wrap this up, Greg, tell us a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know. Not the near-death experience, a fun fact.
All right. Fun fact is I have amazing balance in my life now. I love surfing in the morning.
Awesome.
And
you're in a good spot for it.
A couple of years ago, bought my first Harley Davidson, which is
wow,
an amazing experience, and I go on that at least once a week. So
fantastic. So you're living the dream, my friend. You're living the dream. You're living it.
Well, I'm creating self time for the person that I love. So it's very important that everyone has a bit of self time.
That's right.
So they can enjoy their own company.
Yeah, and that's important, isn't it? Be able to enjoy your own company, guys. That's when you can enjoy your own. And it came to me later in life. One time, guys, I couldn't be on my own. I had to have, no matter who they were, I had to have someone in my life. But now I'm so comfortable in my own skin. It's not funny, you know. I become more like Howard Hughes every day. A good female friend of mine in her 60s, she says, makes me laugh. She says that she's a dog person, and she says the more I see the more I deal with people, the more I love my dogs.
Exactly right. And if it, so one thing we can learn, and this is a lot of clients that come to me, or even people that read my posts, have a hard time doing this. If you can stare at yourself in your eyes, into the mirror, and see and love the person who you see,
yeah,
you're on track, you're on path. If you
no,
can't,
that's a good one, because it's a man in the mirror, guys. I mean, any problems you got in life, they all belong to the man in the mirror. So step up, be responsible, right? And make a decision. Make decisions, guys. You might be wrong. As long as you're right more than you're wrong, you'll be very, very successful. But make decisions. Thanks very much for being on the show today, Greg. It's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure, an absolute pleasure.